All right, meat giant Tyson laying off 1,200 workers after closing its pork factory in Perry, Iowa, only later to announce 52,000 jobs for migrants.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Tyson Foods closing a pork processing plant in Perry, Iowa that employed 1,200 people to only announce that they're going to hire 52,000 people in Tennessee using the New York City Migrants as a pool to select new hires from. Now, this is really gross, really ridiculous. And as you heard in the beginning, what's the excuse? Oh, these are jobs that Americans don't want to do. I have so many questions. The first thing would be, how many Americans worked at the Perry, Iowa plant? I'm sure there were migrants and asylum seekers, refugees, or whatever, but how many of them were American? Also, what's the pay going to be? Are we taking advantage of these so-called migrants, paying them next to no money to keep the cost of the goods low and the profits high? Is that what's going on? Do we have the official new slave class or what? Now, there's a whole database of these migrants in which Tyson is using to select their new hires from. Rather than talking to you, the American consumer, employee, worker. No. We're going to select from the migrants. Now, before we get into it, we got a couple of videos here. First is going to be local news out there in Iowa about how this is going to affect the area, how it's going to affect the community. Then we're going to get into a Bloomberg video in which they detail the process of hiring these so-called migrants from a database. Now, first things first, let's check this out. And both of these videos will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
The largest employer in Perry, Tyson Fresh Meats, will close its doors for good in 108 days, leaving nearly 1,300 people without a job.
108 days seems like a lot, but it's sending city and union leaders into overdrive, helping people find jobs. KCCI's Marcus McIntosh explains the trickle-down effect the closure could have on the entire town.
We met an employee of the Tyson plant here in Perry who's worked there for almost 30 years.
So 30-year employee, place your bets. Illegal alien, green card, American from Iowa, place your bets.
She's also an officer of the union that represents the Tyson workers. She's having a hard time hiding her anger.
I'm very angry about.
Does that appear to be a migrant to you? Does that appear to be someone from China, Mexico, Africa? Does that appear to be a migrant to you? Or we're talking about somebody that probably was born and raised in Iowa and that family that goes all the way back generations ago? You tell me what's going on, but I digress.
What Tyson has done.
Jody Wells has been a Tyson employee in Perry for almost 27 years. Wells also is the secretary and treasurer of United Food and Commercial Workers International Local 1155. She will never forget being blindsided by Monday afternoon's closure announcement.
People walked into that cafeteria laughing and joking and talking. And then after they gave us that flimsy piece of paper, to see the sadness and the tears.
Wells says being hurt and sad will not stop her from fighting to do the right thing by the soon-to-be ex-employees of the Tyson plant.
Our local has set up talks to negotiate.
Wells is not alone in that fight.
Come in here and
keep
Tyson honest about it and get them to do what's right for their employees in the city.
She is joined by Perry Mayor Dirk Cavanaugh. This comes after the mayor met with Tyson officials Tuesday morning, whom he asked a burning question.
Are you actively going to try to sell the plant, or are you just going to shut it down and keep it closed?
A question met with uncertainty. Mayor Cavanaugh knows the Tyson plant closing will impact everywhere Tyson employees spend money.
That affects the housing market, it affects the grocery stores, it affects the, like say, the gas.
Everything, man. This is why you have the Rust Belt, because there were so many manufacturing jobs in America at one point, and I thought that Americans didn't want to do stuff like that. Oh, you don't want to do these hard jobs. 90% of the United States was agrarian at one point, meaning we were farmers, but I don't want to go too far into history. The point is that how did America become America without these jobs being done by Americans? So to say that we don't want to do it, that's a slap in the face at best, but I'm going to let them finish.
Stations, all the businesses in town, the restaurants.
Kavanaugh is keeping an upbeat attitude, hoping to find the silver lining in the cloud hanging over Perry.
I think there's companies out there that want to expand and don't have a place to, and this may be a perfect fit.
It is too soon to tell whether that can happen before the plant shuts down at the end of June. In Perry, Marcus McIntosh, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
So that's the general gist of what's happening out there in Perry, Iowa. Now let's go to what's happening with Tyson on the corporate level. What are they doing with the new hires? 52,000, I believe, in Tennessee. I'm not really sure where in Tennessee, probably somewhere over on the west, not too far from Mississippi River, but different story. Let's check it out.
Bloomberg's Simone Foxman is reporting on how meatpacker Tyson Foods is capitalizing on this inflow. And Simone, this is one of the stories that really got my attention this morning on the Bloomberg terminal. We know.
Let's pause right here. This the title on this video, not the lower third, but the title says Tyson uses migrants to fill unpleasant jobs. So they're trying to make it be a thing where, oh, these are unpleasant. Americans don't want these jobs. Now, the lady that was in the video who was almost crying, she appeared to be American and she wanted her job, but let's keep on going.
I know that critics of the White House talk about New York City migrants as illegal, but your story actually points out that they have work authorization. Walk us through what that means.
So these are asylum seekers or people applying for a very similar temporary protected status. So they apply for asylum and then they wait. But that application for asylum starts a ticking clock. And so most of them will have work authorization within 6 months. That said, they may wait for years for their very first immigration court date. And
all right, so let's pause right here. So Tyson, the company is seeking 52,000 people to work. They're hiring for the Tennessee plant, and they already employ 42,000 immigrants. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean across the entire Tyson Foods company? Does that mean that one plant? Are we talking about asylum seekers? Are we talking about green card holders? Are we talking about legal immigrants? We're talking about straight up illegal, undocumented. What are we talking about? These are statistics that aren't really presented in an honest way, but let's keep on going.
And it's a good thing, frankly, for them to be able to work. It doesn't mean that they're on social services provided by New York City or elsewhere. It means that they have papers, they can go get a job, be documented workers. And this, it turns out, is actually a pretty attractive source of potential workers for places like Tyson.
So why does Tyson have these, what seems to be immense hiring demands?
Let's pause right here. I watched another video from Perry, Iowa, about a migrant family. They were from, I believe, DR Congo, and they were working at the plant, which fired them. And they said, well, it's hard for them to go to other places because other places require a green card. So does Tyson not require a green card? What's going on with that?
So it has a turnover rate of 40%, meaning 4 in 10 of its workers every year on its what it calls its frontline workers, the folks who are, washing the chicken, looking for bones, packing it up into trays. Very few of them are going to stick around in the long term. So it needs to hire something like 52,000 people this year. It already employs about 42,000 immigrants and refugees, but it sees this part of the workforce as a particularly good one for immigrants. They like to stay. They've often come from very difficult situations, and so the company is really investing in a lot of services for them.
Let's pause before they get into what the company is paying for, like lawyers and whatnot for the migrants. There's a high turnover rate, but what else has a high turnover rate? I don't know. McDonald's, Wendy's, Walmart. Are these unpleasant jobs that Americans don't want to do anyway?
Whether it's English language classes, certain child care services, to try and convince them,
lawyers,
come stay. You may make only $16.50 an hour to start, but this is a good job.
And this is a study.
And you probably won't make that much, actually, to do that kind of stuff. Like I said before, a lot of these jobs that the so-called migrants do, Americans will do, but the pay is so low, you kind of get priced out. If you are offered a job as an American to frame houses for $10 an hour, would you do it? Why would you do that when you can work at Chick-fil-A for more than that? It doesn't make any sense. So when they say Americans don't want to do it, is it that we don't want to do it, or do we not want to get paid next to slave labor wages?
A stable job. I can't get my words out today. So you were at a Tyson fair in New York City not so long ago where Tyson was basically making this pitch. What did you observe when you went there?
Yeah, so this is a fair put on by Tent Partnership for Refugees. This is a foundation. It's backed by the founder of Chobani. And what they did is they went out, they created a database for these new asylum seekers.
Now here goes the database. Pay close attention, please.
In New York City specifically. They recorded all their documents, and so Tyson reached out to them. They went through their database, they went through the list, said, you meet the work authorization criteria, you want to relocate, and we think also that you'll meet our physical. So these people would come in, they'd learn a little bit about the company, and for the most part, Tyson had already gone through their various details of their application, and so many of them, 17 the day I was there, and then another 70 a couple weeks later, went off to Tennessee to go start their new jobs as Tyson production workers.
So
there you have it. I don't got to play too much more. You see what's happening here. There's a database and everything is listed. Okay, the physical, your age, your height, your weight, your status, can you work, male, female, young, old, whatever. I've said it before, and every time a story like this comes out as I close, I get proven correct. Migrants are the new slaves. This is the exact same thing they would do with the slaves. Okay, bring in a new batch of slaves, put them on the block. Okay, how old is it? The new buck. Okay, he's 17 years old. He's 6 foot tall. He's strong. He can carry lumber. He can pick cotton. He has other skills. He his master trained him as far as blacksmithing and brick masonry. He has those skills as well. He can work in the kitchen. He can cook food. He can season. He has great seasoning of the food. The fried chicken is amazing. It's the same thing going on here. There's no difference. There is absolutely no difference except for how they're treated and what exactly they're paid. There's no need for the barbarism as it was back in the day. There's no need for the physical bondage and no more need for that, because you could just, it's the same purpose to have these people that are going to work for the lowest amount possible. They're trying to get maximum productivity. They're trying to get the biggest gap between what they must pay somebody and their productivity, and take that big gap and put it into their pocket. That is the long and short of what's going on here. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what Tyson Foods is doing? Are you surprised, not surprised? Did you see it coming? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Migrants, new slaves. This is yet another example. How many more examples do we need of this thing going on? And telling you what they're doing. We got a database of migrants specifically, not Americans, because a lot of Americans want jobs. You got a lot of homeless people that are homeless. Look, you got homeless people living in filth, living very dangerously. You think they wouldn't want to work and find some housing and things of this nature? Unpleasant jobs. Yeah, it's unpleasant. So what? A lot of jobs are unpleasant, but we've always done them throughout history in this country. During a time before there was all this machinery and whatnot, we did these unpleasant, back-breaking jobs to build the country. Now, all of a sudden, Americans don't want to do it anymore. I'm just having a hard time buying it. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.